Welcome to the Parent Advocacy Resource Team for all ages and stages of parenthood. I'm Irene Gouge, founder of Loving Lessons Sleep Consulting and Postpartum Doula Solutions, and your host here at PART, where we partner with parents to create a trusting network of professional services to provide families with proactive options as they navigate the journey of being a family through education, advocacy, empowerment, and connection. Today, I have Pam Horton with New Direction Life Coaching as our guest. She used to be a stressed out mess, but she has discovered how to turn that chaos into peacefulness. I love it. Her goal is to help as many women as she can to learn how to stress less and choose joy. She's a board-certified advanced mental health coach specializing in stress management. She also facilitates planning and priorities workshops. Welcome, Pam. Thanks so much for being here.
Hey, Irene. Thanks for having me.
So, Pam, before we dive in, I want to learn more about who you are, what you're doing, because I love the Choose Joy piece. But one of the segments we have here is things we never thought we would say as a parent. And you shared with me a little bit earlier that life is not fair. Tell me a little bit about that.
That's just so true.
It is so true. It's a hard truth, though.
It is. It is. When I was younger, and I think you hear kids today saying the same thing, right? That's not fair. I kind of continued that into my teenage years and even into my 20s with college situations or job situations. And finally, I guess you could say my mother got sick of hearing it. And she said, Pam, life is not fair. And for me, that was just a profound statement. I mean, like, really? It's not?
You're like, how come everyone's not getting equal portions here? What's happening?
Right.
And that was something I would share with my toddlers. And I really always felt like I was being a harsh caregiver, when I was doing that in my home daycare days. But I was like, that's just a real good truth to try to start to learn and accept.
It is. And I mean, my mother presented it. I was an adult at that time, so yeah. You presented a little differently to a younger person.
Sure.
But it really is true. And the sooner that you realize that and accept it to a certain degree,
yeah,
the kind of easier it is to accept unfair situations because they're going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And it sounds like that might be wisdom that you might share and use in New Direction Life Coaching. How did you get started with that?
So New Direction Life Coaching started with me as Pam Horton coaching.
Okay.
I used to work in special education, public schools, special education classrooms as a teacher's assistant. And I worked with ages anywhere from pre-K to seniors in high school. And well, of course, special ed, they can go over age 18. And by the time my youngest son graduated high school, I thought, I might be able to reach more people outside of the constraints of the public school system. So Pam Horton Coaching was born, so to speak.
Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, my husband decided that he wanted to get some certifications in coaching and join me, and we would be coaches. So he couldn't really be Pam Horton Coaching. So we kind of got our brains together and we formed New Direction Life Coaching. And the logo is a half circle with an arrow. Because if you need coaching, chances are you're going in a direction that you're not really thrilled with. And so we can help you go in a new direction.
I like it. Turn it around. Go the other way.
That's right.
Make better choices. And so, Pam, a lot of parents that are tuning in, they may or may not know, like, why would I need a coach? What would be the difference between maybe reaching out to a coach versus maybe a counselor or a therapist? Because that can be kind of confusing, I think, for parents.
And it's hugely different. Hugely. I am not a counselor. I'll be the first person to tell you I am not a counselor. I get people contacting me about counseling, and I have to refer them to other people. Counseling refers to your past. So what happened to you in your past? Why are you how you are now? So it kind of explains your history. Coaching, on the other hand, meets you at least with an understanding of where you are, why you are, but you don't know how to move positively forward. So coaching helps you go forwards. Counseling is backwards, coaching is forwards.
That's just a great visual right there to kind of help give that clarity. And so, Pam, you mentioned that you focus on stress less, and I'm not for sure. Can you show me your shirt? What does your shirt say? Stress less.
You want the whole shirt?
Got the shirt. You got to wear the shirt. Stress less. So how do we do that? Like, are there some practical tips that you could share with our parents that are tuning in now? Things that they might need to maybe think about, or maybe the way you would work with people?
So one of the things, probably the main thing that I tell parents, and it's not really about stressing less, it's more about accepting yourself, which of course would help you stress less. But the reality is, you are not a perfect parent.
That's a hard truth. I want to be a perfect parent sometimes, though, Pam.
I am not a perfect. There is no perfect parent.
There are not. Sometimes we want to be.
Yes. And in reality, you can only do what you can with what you know. So we are parenting based on what we are familiar with. And that can be a couple of different things. We may have had such an amazing childhood and our parents were almost perfect.
Perfect, but they're not.
Almost. But so we strive to parent our children in that fashion. And then on the other hand, you have the family that was extremely dysfunctional. Things were not going well, and you would not consider that parenting style to be anywhere close to almost perfect. And so in those two situations, you can parent in one of three ways. So you liked what you had, so you do it. You didn't like how you grew up, so you don't do it. You're like, I am not raising my kids like that. Most of us fall in kind of somewhere in the middle, and we pick and choose the good parts and eliminate the bad parts. And that's where we choose to parent. But if you're coming from a background of, I'm not going to do that, you may not have had a good model. So in that case, you're like, okay, what am I doing?
So Pam, is that a good time to really connect with a coach, someone who could come alongside and like almost be like a mentor model?
Yes.
Through that.
Yes. There are parenting classes you can take. You could be a coach. You can connect with different people like the PART team to help you kind of get those tools and resources to put you into the parenting pattern that you desire to be.
So, because sometimes I feel like as parents, we might feel stuck. Like, yep, this is the hand I was dealt. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And, like not feeling like I know what's my next step. But it sounds like you help people unpack that and figure out that next step to turn it around.
Yes. Coaches are notorious for getting people unstuck.
That is great. And so, Pam, tell me a little bit about if someone's looking for a coach, what kinds of things should they be looking for? Because, there is more coaches coming available to families. So how would they, know like maybe Pam is the best fit for me? Like what kinds of things should they look for?
Right. So the first thing that I want to make sure people understand is that coaching is an unregulated field. So counselors have master's degrees, maybe PhDs. There's a licensing board, and they've got a lot of stuff. Coaching is currently unregulated, and buddy and their brother can hang their sign out and say, I'm a coach, come talk to me. So you want to make sure that you're doing your research. You want to find someone who is certified. So there are certifying boards out there. There are probably 3 major communities that certify coaches. So it would definitely be a better choice to choose someone who's kind of been looked at and approved as a good coach. You also want to find somebody who gives a free consult. You want to connect with that person and at least find out, do you jive? Do you get along? Do you even like that person? You certainly don't want to sign up for a package or even a session that you're going to pay for and find out, oh my gosh, I don't even like this person. Their tone of voice just irritates me or whatever it is. Yeah. You're probably going to be sharing some personal information with this person. So you want to make sure that you are comfortable with them and that they can help you on your journey forward.
Yeah, that's really good wisdom. Lots of great information that you're sharing there. Pam, if someone was looking to reach out to you, what would that process look like? What do your coaching programs look like? Because you also mentioned you do some workshops as well.
Yes. So I'm actually going through a rebrand on my website. Yay!
Oh, exciting. Yay.
There's going to be lots more stuff available through the website. But for now, you would go to the website, which is www.newdirectionlifecoaching.com.
Great. We'll have the link down below.
Perfect. And my email is pam@pamhorton.life, which I love. I love that ending.
That's awesome.
Yes. And I do individual coaching. I do group coaching. You can meet me through in person, if you're local, and I work with women, but most women, if they're going to talk personal stuff, they prefer to meet in person. So I probably do more local stuff, but I'm available via Zoom. I also have this workshop that you mentioned, which is a planning and priorities workshop. And that can be done individually, group, business-wide. And you could call it time management. You could call it time blocking and, make your little colors in it.
Okay.
I don't do that, but it basically more than time management is that we take a look at your priorities. And we want to make sure that what you say is important shows up in your actions.
What you say is important shows up in your actions. Yeah, that's really powerful right there. That is a truth bomb for sure.
I like that, truth bomb.
Yeah.
I call them toe steppers.
Truth bomb, toe stepper. Yeah, it hits a little hard.
Yes.
Either way.
So I operate from truth and humor.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing a toe stepper, you got to kind of lighten it up a little bit too.
Yeah, I think that anytime you're going through any kind of work on yourself and self-development, growth, it's not going to be a straight and narrow, beautiful journey. It can get a little bit messy and you can only laugh at yourself through it.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah, no, that's good wisdom also to be shared. Pam, is there a specific season of life of like women that you work with? Like, is it like moms of littles, teens, older? Like, what would you say that you typically work with?
I probably am hitting the 35 to 65 age group. So they could, I mean, that's kids of all ages at that point.
Sure.
And empty nesters.
Okay.
There are some women who really struggle when their kids go off to college. Or join the military. Okay. I had one of them, so I know where that's all at. And there's a lot of stress in that.
That's good to know. Yeah. I'll say I had a hard time when my son just got his permit. What is happening? Like, new season, new life. I was like, what is going on?
There's some stress around that too.
I was like, I'm like literally putting my life in your hands, like literally in the car. So Pam, with all these things, it sounds like you do some amazing work. You have some really wonderful options for parents to get connected with you. I wonder if there's like a self-care tip that you can share with our audience. We want to leave parents with like little nuggets, different things that people do, and how to take care of yourself to minimize that stress.
Absolutely. The first thing, of course, that I tell everybody is you have to have some time for self-care. I don't care if 5 minutes in the bathroom without a phone. Just
not a phone,
unless you're listening to music, read a book in the bathroom. That's what, But seriously, even 5 minutes, sometimes, especially if you've got a lot of younger children, it's like, blah, 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 blah. Mommy needs a break. I just need 5 minutes. Just to kind of take a deep breath, etc. But for me, my favorite thing to do is float.
Float.
So we are blessed to have a swim spa, and it's outside. It's outdoors. And any chance I get, I go out and I float for 20 minutes. Because if you think about, I mean, I don't know if you swim or float, or some people, unfortunately, are terrified of the water.
Yeah. Well, I do have a pool in my neighborhood. So, and it is summertime, so that can be helpful to go out and float.
Yes. So when you are actually floating, your body weight is being held by the water. So you don't feel it. You just feel, like you're floating. But also when your body is in such a state of rest, it allows your brain to kind of, I don't want to say float, but it allows the pressure from, not physically pressure, the thoughts, they just kind of, everything just kind of goes up into the sky.
Yeah, that is great. Pam, I wonder, can we recreate that in a bathtub? Can you float?
Absolutely. I mean, my kids, your kids probably.
Yeah, I'm wondering too, because, if somebody's watching this and it's winter time, or if they don't have a beautiful summer, can I float in my tub?
Right. Absolutely. A tub would do it. You just want to make sure that you don't overfill the tub and spill tons of water onto the floor, causing a leak. No.
I know all the things that could go wrong, but we're going to focus on the good things. We're going to choose joy and stress less through that whole journey.
Yes.
Pam, it has been such a pleasure getting to know you and who you are and what you're doing. Thank you for, the impacts you're making in your corner of the world. And so to those tuning in, thank you so much for being here with us at PART with the Parent Advocacy Resource Team, where we partner with parents to navigate the journey of being a family through education, advocacy, empowerment, and connection. Thanks, Pam.
Thanks for having me.